In the world of 2.2 semi-automatics, especially reproduction, semi-automatic, and licensed reproduction, smaller gauge semi-automatic, there's a lot. However, if you like a gun that looks like this and you don't want a semi-automatic, there's only a couple, of which I think this probably might be the only one. This is the Schmeisser BA15. Probably a lot more fun than I gave it credit for when I first opened the box. I'm still trying to get my head around it, to be honest. Come have a look over it with me. So it's still a very fresh memory in my mind from when I opened this box up, and I'm like, yeah, that's interesting. And I must admit, when the guys were talking about sending it down for review, I was like, yeah, just be another 2.2 semi-automatic that probably doesn't float my boat. And then I opened the box, and I'm like, oh no, it's bolt action. That's interesting. So immediately I decided to take it apart to see what it was actually made of, to see where it was at. So first things, let's look at the stock. The stock is a collapsible, fun thing. So that would be nice. If you're tall, you can have it long. If you're short, you can have it short. It's interesting. What it is not is M4 attachment, from what I can see. There might be some kind of reverse engineering you could do to make it so, but this is the stock you are pretty much stuck with for the time being, at least. Another thing that needs to be said before people go, oh, that's not good enough, is that this gun's like £400. It's a very reasonably priced gun in this sort of domain, I think, at least. Maybe. Or at least, I don't know. There you go. Internal mechanism. Have a look at that trigger mechanism. It is very, very simple. When you fire it off, when you pull the bolt back, it recocks. And you fire it off, and you pull the bolt back, and it cocks it back. It is very simple. If you look at the upper of the action, you have a little screw that holds your bolt in, and apart from that, you have the same sort of slide, apart from you've got no springs or anything. It's quite greasy and mucky in there at the packet, but that's fine. It's I just find this utterly intriguing. I'm not entirely sure whether I like it or not. I can't wait to shoot it and find out how it performs. I guess the market this fills, from sort of speaking to, well, I've had a few questions about it, sort of showing it to people and talking about it to people. The first one goes, well, could I take that upper and put it on something else, or could I take that lower and put it on something else? I'm not entirely sure or convinced of either of those, but I don't know, and I will be corrected by the people who do. Because again, there's a lot I like about it. The ability perhaps that you could change the uppers out for different calibers and have various caliber uppers at home or whatever, I don't know. So plastic everywhere makes for an extremely light gun. Plastic mag, plastic follower, metal spring, that's nice, metal spring, and metal screws on it too. Metal forend, metal angle foregrip, all comes with the gun. I'm not sure if the FG does actually. This little red dot doesn't. That's quite a smart little thing, little Bushnell red dot. That's cool, we're gonna have fun with that. What I did find interesting, I thought, oh, you know what you could do? You could take this bolt action rifle and stick your big mag in it, and it's very practical, and it's very waterproof, and it's very simple, and tickles your AR looks thing, and you could screw this off and put a moderator on, but you can't, unfortunately, and there's a little interesting thing for you here. So that inside we have a little pencil barrel, little O-ring that clips you into the front there. This is aluminium. Your forend comes off accordingly, and then the entire back of your shroud does come off accordingly as well. From there, interestingly, I believe this nut will come out, and hopefully the barrel will come out with it. Just like that. So, there you go. Alright, what do we take away from this? Well, I don't know. And I'm looking forward to shooting it, and to be honest, I was kind of like, it's just another 400 quid bolt 2.2 thing that kind of doesn't need to exist. But speaking to a very close friend of mine, he goes, I think you're missing the point, John. I'm like, well, what is the point then? And he goes, well, it's fun. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you could buy this gun for £400, and then you could spend a couple of quid on it, customising it and having fun. And you know what? It doesn't really matter. If you want to spray this forend orange and chop 2 inches off it, it doesn't matter. The component prices on these Schmeisser BA15s are cheap. Very, very reasonably priced. I can't imagine the barrels are going to be particularly expensive, so, you know, if you like that, one could say you could buy a new barrel. You could chop this barrel down to 12 inches and have a short barrel. You could buy a barrel and have it machined or put an adapter on, have a silenced barrel. You could do whatever you want. You could customize it and have loads of fun. And then he said something that really made sense to me, and this was, he goes, you know those little Crossmans, the little rat catchers that everyone buys, isn't a particularly good air rifle and people spend lots of money on it, but what you end up with is a gun that's customizable and fun and yours, and you've spent very little money creating a gun that is entirely yours. I'm like, yeah, and he goes, that's what this is. And I go, that is very wise. This is the ultimate accessible, customizable gun for those who want to own an AR but can't. But unfortunately, you know, and you can buy really high quality AR-22s in the UK, but they're also very, well, they're not very expensive. They're quite expensive, or I don't know. A lot of this does sort of say to me that this gun is built for countries where getting a semi-automatic 2.2 is a little bit harder, and those who want to buy a black gun in 2.2 buy one of those. So there you go. Johnny in a complete state of confusion. Not that happens quite regularly anyway. A gun that he probably shouldn't like, but actually probably can see the utter practicality behind it, and can see the joy that it could bring somebody. In terms of trigger and action, because as much as I say it's plastic, it doesn't, and it feels because it feels plasticky. Plasticky, when people see plasticky, just generally means crud. This actually feels like a good quality gun in the arm. The fit, the feel, the finish of the plastic is not a low quality fit, feel and finish. And then you bolt onto that. A trigger that isn't atrocious. But guess what, when you buy this gun, you can do your own trigger job to it, because it's so easy to access and work on those sears and polish it off, because that's all it is a little sear polish away from being really nice. And trust me, when I fired significantly more expensive rifles with equally as bad triggers. Anyway, that's enough going on and waffling about a gun that, again, I don't really understand, because it's outside of my, it's not even outside of my area of knowledge. I just don't get it. I like it, I just don't particularly get it. Anyway, let's go see if it shoots in a straight line. Well, we were relatively on the money, actually. I noticed before we took this out that this was wound into its fully up position, so I gave it a bit of a crank to the middle, and actually we're somewhere fairly handy. So we're going to go straight back to 50 yards, whack a group through. I have loaded up with Ely Subsonics, which are common or garden, aren't they? They'll do, and I've got some tasty little rounds as well. RWS R50s, ooh, shiniest box in the world. Let's give her a whirl, see how she shoots. It's becoming a bit of a tradition to test guns out in the wet here, for which I am, or to which I am not partial at all. Interestingly, there's a little delay between the hammer falling and the ammo firing. You sort of feel the click before you feel the bang, maybe, I don't know. Probably just me. The trigger is actually alright. Once you get used to just pulling that first bit of slack out of it, it's alright, but really does need a polish. And again, it's not going to be a true accuracy test because it came with this little bushing on there, and I guess it's kind of the fun thing. And every time now I think of a gun and go, what's the point in that? I remember a good friend of mine, and chances of saying, for fun, because guns can be fun. I think, well, rifles can be fun, and we often forget in the UK that that is actually a perfectly acceptable use for a gun. Smile making. So let's go and check out how accurate that was, and depending on the success, we'll see what we do next. 50 yards, 2 inches. You know the rifle can do better. I think, for the sake of fairness, just because a red dot sight I think is a lot easier for certainly for fairness of accuracy, we're going to shoot at, with my eyesight, 25 yard, shoot a group with RWS R50s at 25 yard, and then we'll step back to 100 and we'll have another go. So we're halfway through shooting now, and we've shot a fair few rounds to this thing. Quality, what are we going to talk about quality? Well, certainly the trigger seems to be getting a little bit nicer, it seems to be wearing in a little bit, which is not disconcerting, it's just what it is. Grass did get inside the action, it doesn't like that. It's definitely not a gun that likes dirt. It also gets a bit fussy with some cases, I've noticed. I think the best thing we could do with this gun when you get it is completely strip it, degrease it, and get it ready to run. And I think it would like that a lot more. It's seeming not to like those Ely Edge, we put a fair few of that through it. RWS without a problem. Quality wise, it's a 400 quid rifle that looks like this. I mean, you can't expect them to be investing lots and lots on the mechanism, especially when it's quite a simple mechanism. All I say is keep it clean, drive it hard, and you won't have a problem. I think that's probably the wisest thing to say about it. Anyway, let's get back to shooting. Let's load up. I must admit, the mag's quite a pleasant thing to load with these large lips on the side. It's actually alright. I didn't want to get wet. I wore jeans and trainers. I'm going to have to, because I haven't got a bipod for this rifle either. Right, 25 yards off a bag, little red dot sight. And I'll tell you what, I am actually having fun. Okay, secondly, it's truly uncomfortable with this red dot on, as this stock is just a little bit too high for the red dot where the dot is on the thing, because the dot has to be quite high to get it zeroed-ish. So you'd have to put your face quite hard down on there. So for those of you looking at buying one of these, you're probably better off with a red dot, or a red dot that's raised up as opposed to this, which is I suppose a micro dot. Let's go see how we got on. Yeah, it's alright with a red dot at this sort of distance. And it was fun, that's for damn sure. I should say at this point, interject and say, if you like our channel and this video, you should like the video, subscribe and share. And if you really like our stuff, maybe support us and become a channel member, which is a little join button down there, or a link in the description to membership, and I would really appreciate that. We really appreciate that. The next point is that, you know, this channel is generally more shotgun based, and I do apologise for not taking rifles more seriously, because rifles are either a tool or should be fun. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not a rifle purist like I am a shotgun purist. Maybe that's evident here, where a rifle purist would go and get a big scope and see whether it was actually accurate or not. But I have no doubt that this rifle is accurate in itself. I know I pulled a couple of shots, and that's an alright group for a red dot. An alright group for a red dot. I could go and change it for a scope right now, but I'm not. I'm going to go and shoot this at 100 yards and see how we get on, because why not? 80 metres instead of 100, because that would have been mildly unrealistic. Let's have some fun. Fun word with firearms. I do feel a bit odd. I'm going to draw my conclusions before we go and look at that target board. And I'll put my hands up and admit, I thought that this was going to be utter junk when I took it out of the box, and I was like, what is the point in that? A bolt action rifle that looks like an AR type of platform thing and has some of the features but not all of them. I thought, I just don't get it. And I'm right now here at the end after having fired a box of ammo through it on and off camera. I mean, more than that, about 100 rounds. I tell you what, still don't get it, but I sure like it. Like, you get the bolt, it's fun, it's plastic, you can take it down and clean it as easy as anything. You get all of those little sort of techie fun smiley bits you get. You could, if your heart desired, modify it for very low money, and it doesn't matter because you're not really ruining anything. I'd actually own one of these. And I don't think I could say the same for a semi-automatic version. Maybe. I don't know. Again, I'm sure someone below will tell you, like, that's exactly for that. And I go, oh, that makes lots of sense. But for me, this rifle represents a rifle you can just have a bit of fun with. It's a bolt action, so you still get a bit of accuracy, you still get a bit of, I was going to say safety, but that's not the point. A little bit of extra consistency. You get to work a bolt, and it's a nice bolt. That's not really the point a lot of the time. But hey, just wish it was screw cut, because that would open it up to the hunting market a huge amount more. I love it. It's just a fun little gun. A fun little gun. You know, again. Smiles.
So actually not a bad group from that range at all. Not great, to be fair. But from a red dot group for a bit of fun, freehand, you got a little sort of centre there. I think that's probably where I was sat, and then you got the standing group kind of strips across that area. Would I like to shoot this with a scope to see how accurate it was? I think the bottom line is I don't really care. And that's probably quite sad to many of you, because I don't think even if this rifle was the most accurate thing in the world, it could bring you more joy than it does in its state. So conclusions after all of that fun, which is what it was, is this gun is very fun. It does have the ability to put a smile on your face, and that's great. Quality wise, it's okay actually. It doesn't like grass. We've got a bit of grass in there, a bit of wet grass, shredded. I came off my fingers, went in the mag, got loaded into the gun, and the gun then didn't like that at all. If you don't operate it in its complete cycling fashion, it will jam. It's not forgiving. It's definitely not forgiving. I suppose my real issue with this gun is I think it's just trying to be too many things for the price. However, it is still very reasonably priced at 400 odd quid. Under 400 quid, most places I expect if you look at them. So it's not that expensive for a gun that looks like this, that is nicely put together. My issue comes, I think, that it's just fun. I want them to put a moderator on it so I could potentially use it for target use, but that's it's impossible, and to the investment to get to that stage is probably a little bit much. I say about chopping the barrel down, doing this sort of thing, you can do all those relatively reasonably priced. A decent screw cutting job is more money. I don't know, there you go. Would I buy one for fun? Most definitely. I'm left with a smile on my face. The red dot, I'm afraid, I think it's the real entry-level Bushnell red dot, is not for me. I think maybe the difficulty with this red dot with this stock, they just don't go together. That's quite simple. But I'm still left smiling at the end. You know, a little bit frustrated that perhaps some of the ammunition I didn't like, but you can't blame that. And you know, a rifle that doesn't like being full of dirt. Well, a lot of rifles don't like being full of dirt. Did I like it? Yeah. Did I enjoy it? Yeah. Would I buy one for fun? Yeah. Would I buy one for hunting? No. Would I buy one to be the most accurate man in the world? To be fair, we didn't give it a fair accuracy test, but I expect and know there are probably better rifles out there for accuracy, whether they're in the 400 quid mark new, probably not, but new 400 quid mark second hand, definitely. There you go. There it is. A fun rifle that is built purely, I believe, for fun, and is probably more accurate and reliable than the semi-automatics out there for 400 quid brand new that look like that. Anyway, guys, take care. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye. I still don't get it, is the bottom line. I still just don't get it, but it is fun and did make me smile. There you go. A really odd review. Have a great day.